Now, people buy properties for all sorts of reasons, to provide a rental income, possibly as part of a pension or as somewhere to live.
So what were the stories behind the properties that went to auction today? It's emotional at the auction as this buyer in London feels the pressure.
Bit nervous on the day itself, but managed to grab what I wanted.
The thrill of the auction floor entices one developer back into the game in Staffordshire.
You know, there's quite a buzz there and you can get a bargain.
And find out why it all gets a little too much for this developer in Cornwall. The auction.
Yeah, didn't sleep for a few nights before.
Right.
All these properties have been sold at auction. We will find out who bought them and what they paid for them when they went under the hammer. Today I'm in the residential suburb of Edgware in the borough of Barnet in northwest London. It's brimming with stylish cafes, restaurants and shops, and combined with those all-important transport links to London, Edgware is an attractive place to invest in property. Not far from some very good shopping along the High Street, and you have Burnt Oak Broadway. It's the property I'm here to see. So what have we got? Well, it's a 3-bedroom, ground floor, purpose-built flat in this rather pleasant cul-de-sac with good links to the M1 and not far from Edgware Northern Line into central London. Sounds promising. Through the main communal entrance, and it's just a short walk to get to your own front door. Most other flats here only have 2 bedrooms, but the one I'm going to look at on the corner of the building here has 3. And the guide price, £160,000 plus. These flats were built in the 60s, and I like this end location of this one. You've got this long corridor with loads of rooms off, bedroom, another bedroom, you've got the kitchen here, a bathroom, another bedroom, and then right the way through into the lounge. As I guessed, no beautiful fireplaces, no ceiling roses or cornices, but you've got masses of practical space that really does work. Look, big square rooms. You've got a door leading out to the front, so you could use that, or of course the main entrance. It certainly needs modernising in here, but you can't extend it or change the look too much as it's part of the uniform block. But don't forget, it's got 3 bedrooms, which is a real bonus. It really does look as though this place hasn't had much done to it since the 1960s when it was built. There are still lots of little telltale signs from the period in its fixtures and fittings. This does, of course, mean you'll have to go for a full rewire, probably new central heating and, really, a full-scale modernisation plan. You might not be able to do much to it structurally, but it's a great layout as it is. You really do have a blank canvas here. I was talking earlier about how practical a flat like this is. Well, one of the positives here is that every single floor, apart from the kitchen and bathroom, has this solid parquet floor. Now, I know it will look totally different once it's been sanded, stained and polished. I even painted my own parquet floor a whitewash and let the grain come through. It looked fabulous and it really did add value. Another bonus with this flat is that the entire block is surrounded by some really well-maintained gardens.
Oh, come on, that's what you get.
You'll have to factor in costs for the upkeep of the grounds, but luckily here the communal service charge is relatively low, around £350 per year. All in all, I think this is a great little flat in a great area with that all-important easy access to central London. I reckon you'll need around £20,000 to refurbish it to a high standard. But what sort of return might you expect on your investment? Let's ask a local property expert.
My first impressions of the property are it's very dated, obviously in need of complete modernisation. It's a very spacious property, fantastic, quiet, cul-de-sac location, very safe, and it will be a fantastic property once it's refurbished. Positive things about this property is the excellent size. You've got 3 good-sized bedrooms, a nice big kitchen, excellent sized bathroom, and it's very close to the tube station. Once this property was refurbished, on the sales market it should achieve somewhere in the region of £300,000 to £310,000. On the rentals market, this property should achieve somewhere in the region of £1,400 per calendar month.
With this, you get a solid, well-built property with no frills. But in a Greater London location like this, it's going to be a popular lot, I'm sure. Let's see who was bidding on the day.
Lot 29 is a 3-bed flat. Start 150 on this. 150 with you. 155. 155. 160. 165, take it in front, 165, 170, 175, 180.
As you can see, this property was in demand. We rejoin the bidding at 240,000.
240 with the catalogue, 245 with the phone, 250, 255, 255, 260, 260, 265, 270, 275, 280. 280. Yes, no? 275 with you. 280 in the check shirt. 275. Gent's been there all the time. 275. First time. Second time. Third and last time. Have you all done? Sold 275.
And after that dogfight, it was Rakesh who finally won the day. By day, he works as a dry cleaner, but he's also been developing property along with his parents and his wife since 2002. The family have a portfolio of properties which they rent out, but Rakesh's plans for this flat are to sell it on for a decent profit. Rakesh, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Well done. So, how do you feel now? You got the flat you wanted on auction day?
Yes, very excited. Bit nervous on the day itself, but managed to grab what I wanted.
So, for you, the interesting thing is you burst through the stamp duty threshold of £250,000 and you paid £275?
That's correct.
So now, most people, I would have assumed, gone up to £250 with this flat and then pulled out.
My aim was 250,000 itself. Did get carried away, but I think I did a lot of research before I came for this property itself. I came here 3 times, brought the builders, had the legal pack in my hand as well. So it was a point where I just didn't want to let go of it.
So you just wanted to make sure you bought something on the day?
Absolutely. My wife was a bit shocked afterwards. Obviously, I told her I've just spent £275,000. But
now I've got to spend 3% stamp duty?
Yes, absolutely. But she was over the moon at the same time as well.
I want you. I want you. Yes, I want you so bad.
Rakesh is delighted, especially as he was not the only one that wanted the property. He could have made an immediate profit as a rival bidder for the property offered him another 25 grand on the spot to just flip it. A very tempting offer indeed. But you weren't interested?
I wasn't, because I really fell in love with this. I wanted to renovate it, and I will see after once it's all done. He's given me his contact. He's still interested, and we'll speak once it's all ready.
So, tell me what you're going to do to this property to improve it.
Okay, well, we're going to renovate the complete new kitchen, bathroom, obviously remove all the wallpaper off the walls, redecorate the whole area, new gas boiler in the storage cupboard, and make it to a high standard itself, and take it, see how it goes.
As you might expect from a seasoned property developer, Rakesh has a team of trusted builders ready and willing to start the job immediately. He has a budget of £15,000 and hopes to have the refurbishment finished in around 4 to 5 weeks. He plans to make use of that little redundant area currently housing the big old water tank to increase the size of the kitchen, and that will certainly improve the appeal of the flat. But what I want to know is, what's he going to do with that fabulous parquet flooring?
We were thinking of actually sanding that down and reusing the whole flooring, but we haven't decided as yet what we want to do with the floor. But
I mean, it is everywhere.
It is.
You've got parquet
yes.
flooring throughout the whole flat, which is incredible.
It is, yes. So we'll see as we go along with the renovation.
Now, it doesn't smell of damp, because that is something that I always have to walk around and think, is there any damp? But it just smells musty. Do you think that's just lack of airflow?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's made. We're going to have it checked out with whether there is damp or not, but I think it's just really condensation in the property itself.
Well, not having any damp to deal with certainly saves on the renovation costs, but Rakesh has talked about a high-spec finish. So I'm keen to find out what plans he has up his sleeve for decor and colour schemes.
It's going to be pure white.
Pure white?
Pure white.
Not magnolia?
Not magnolia.
Not an off-white?
Absolutely.
Pure white?
Pure white. It's
Lovely.
that's how all my flats I have renovated to that standard.
And what about the kitchen?
Kitchen again, we're going to have a gloss white kitchen in there to a high spec, and same with the bathroom. We've already picked out a colour. In fact, I have an interior designer with us as well on board.
Wow, so I'm expecting big things, Rakesh.
Absolutely.
I'm expecting a bit of a wow factor when I walk in the door.
Absolutely.
Well, good luck with this property.
Thank you very much.
I'm excited to see the interior design swishiness of it.
Absolutely.
And congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Rakesh really did his research with this property before spending £275,000 and breaking through that stamp duty threshold, and he did all that without telling his wife. Still, he fell in love with this property, and with £15,000 and an interior designer, he's going to turn this place around. Join me later on in the programme and you can find out how good it looks.
This is Newcastle under Lyme in Staffordshire, a pretty market town sitting right next door to Stoke. The market here dates back to the 12th century. With Manchester and Birmingham less than an hour's drive away, this is a popular area for commuters. Well, just a couple of miles from the town centre, in this popular residential area, is the property I'm here to see. Now, before I even get there, one slight note of caution. It's right opposite a pub. Now, that could throw up a few issues in terms of noise and resale values. Not everyone likes living so close to such an amenity. The property itself, though, sounds pretty good. 3 bedrooms, semi-detached, had a guide price of £80,000 plus. Got to be worth a look. There are so many plus points already for this house. It looks in great condition and it's near the sought-after Seabridge and Clayton areas of Newcastle under Lyme, where houses can sell for £500,000. So a useful little porch, we like that. If there was any noise from the pub, then it would certainly be slightly kept down by having that. But very traditional layout. The moment you walk through the door, stairs up there to your bedrooms and bathroom, and then a little corridor leading to, well, let's find out. Front living room area there looks to be in pretty decent nick. Yeah, it's not sparkling, but it's not at all bad. Same news when you walk into the kitchen. This is a really nice space. It's a sort of kitchen stroke, well, I like to think family area there. Maybe even better if you put some French doors in through where those windows currently are. But obviously it hasn't been updated in a while, so lots of chance to add value. We like that. And as a starting point, yep, it's doing pretty good.
Things could be marvelous soon.
Upstairs there are 2 reasonably sized bedrooms, a larger bedroom, and thankfully an upstairs bathroom, showing a sign or 2 of damp, possibly, but not too bad. It's all tying into place, and given the location, it's looking like a great family home to me. Time to look for that all-purpose family garden. So, at the back of the property, confirming its status as a really good family home, a decent-sized garden. Now, at the moment, obviously, grass could do with a bit of a mow, but apart from that, you can see a few hours in here would make a big difference, and good news that the Leylandi over there are at least a decent distance away from the drains, because otherwise that would be a problem. So as I said, all in all, just adds to the appeal of the place. Well, I'm already quite excited about this place, but it seems to be a house that just keeps on giving. Well, at the front of the property, a bit of a garden and off-street parking, which is a big bonus. However, there is more, a little bit of a surprise. Because next to the next door property, you've also got a single garage. Well, bonus. On first impressions, this place gets 10 out of 10. 3 bedrooms, a garden, the garage. It has potential to be a great family home. But what about the area? We asked a local estate agent to come and look at the property and give us the lowdown on the neighbourhood.
The local area, Clayton, is really close to Newcastle-under-Lyme. The commuter links obviously take you to the M6 in no time. Local amenities are fantastic. There's shops, pubs, hairdressers, and of course local schools are really well regarded as well.
That's top marks for the area then. But what about the property itself?
Ideally, I'd like to see the kitchen and bathroom refreshed and replaced, and just a good level of decoration throughout. And that's all it needs, really, I think.
So it's all good news on the location, the property's layout and its condition. How much does he think it'll be worth on the open market?
I think this property, once renovated, would quite easily be worth £145,000.
Wow, that could mean if you bought it for anything like that £80,000 guide price, then even with refurbishment costs, there could be, quite possibly, a handsome profit in it. Suppose you weren't interested in resale though, but wanted to rent it out. What could you get for it?
If I were to place the property on the rental market, I'd expect to achieve £625 per calendar month.
So what do you think? I think this is a great little property. Not too much work to be done, but you could really add value to it. A perfect auction purchase. Let's see who bought it when it went under the hammer.
Lot 13, Newcastle-under-Lyme now. It's a 3-bedroom semi-detached house. It is in need of modernisation. Can you get it going at 75? 75 bid, thank you, at £75,000. 80 anywhere? At 75. 80 left now at £80,000. 85. One you're saying, 81, 82, 82, 83, 84...
Slow to start, this sale picked up speed and we rejoin it when the bidding reached 105,000.
105 on the phone, 105, 106, 107... No, at 106, under the sign at 106, 107 anywhere else. If not, £106,000 for 107, 108, 108, 109, shaking his head, 109 back to you in the aisle, so at £109,000. 110 anywhere else. If not, £109,000 once, £109,000 twice. Third and final time, £109,000. Bought it in the aisle, well done.
The successful bid of £109,000 was made by Kevin, who has only recently got back into property development after a 10-year break. I met up with him back at the house. Kevin, great to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
So, why do you want to buy this place?
It's a really nice neighbourhood and just come up with the right price at the right time, really, so investment for the future.
Right. What was it about the house particularly that appealed?
It looked in pretty good condition other than a few cosmetic bits. I know it had been previously rented out and it just looked in pretty good condition, really. So,
location?
Yeah, no, it's a very good road. The top end of Seabridge, they fetch £500,000 plus. So yeah, it's a very nice neighbourhood.
However, the house itself is actually right opposite a pub. Does that bother you at all?
No, I did actually speak to some of the neighbours and they said at closing time it's very, very quiet. It's a very respectable pub.
Right, well, that's good.
What a good place to be.
So, no worries about the pub. Kevin's done his homework. Not surprising, given that he used to combine property development with his day job as a sales rep before the recession put brakes on his part-time business. But now he's back. He has 4 properties already on the rental market, and this will be his 5th, all bought at auction.
3 I purchased on auction night, and the other 2 were done the following day because I didn't hit reserves. I like the fact that you can, you know, there's quite a buzz there, and you can get a bargain.
So this one, then, what are you going to do to it?
Cosmetically, it looks fairly clean, but it does need, every room needs repainting. The bathroom needs completely ripping out. That's very old-fashioned. Also, the kitchen is probably 1960s and not been touched yet, so that needs ripping out. There's a window going out into the garden. I want to put some French doors in there. So it lends itself into the garden. It's south-facing as well, so it's got a nice patio area, so it could be a very nice little family home.
Yeah, and the garden's not massive, but copable with.
Manageable, yeah.
Apart from installing the French doors, Kevin isn't planning any major structural changes to the house. However, the living room is missing a key feature. Is he going to do anything to that empty fireplace?
Being a rental, I'd probably actually just leave it.
Right.
Let tenants do that if they want to put something in there, an artificial fire in or something. But yeah, it's expense I don't really need, I suppose.
Spoken like a true property developer. With a possible monthly rental of around £600, Kevin is happy to add this house to his portfolio. But he always has one eye on the local sale prices.
By 11 o'clock, I'll be bringing that money home.
There's one just up the road for sale, the same house, for quite a bit more. So
How much more do you know?
it's 155.
Wow,
it's,
and you
it's
paid-
next door but one.
And you paid
109.
109?
Yeah.
Well, if he ends up with a house worth that much, this looks like a bit of a bargain. Kevin has set aside a budget of £7,000 for this upgrade and plans to have the job finished in 6 weeks, carrying out a lot of the work himself. So I expect he'll be keen to get cracking.
I'm off to California to see, well, we'll go down to Gatwick this evening.
Oh, wow.
Early morning flight to Vegas, followed by a trip down the Pacific coast to LA, San Francisco and San Diego.
What a great trip. So you just bought a house and you're disappearing off for how many weeks?
That's it, 3 weeks off. Yeah, I can't wait.
Well, good luck with that.
Thanks.
And good luck with the house.
Thank you.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what you do to it.
Yeah, thanks.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Well, I think Kevin has chosen well with this place to add it to his property portfolio. Budget seems fine, but that timescale, will it be affected by his California dreaming? You can find out later in the show. Still to come is the price of this cottage in Cornwall too good to be true. Just £40,000. So, what's the catch? There are unforeseen developments in Staffordshire that are close to home.
My stepdaughter suddenly decided they wanted somewhere else to live.
We return now to Edgware in northwest London, where earlier I looked round this 3-bed ground floor flat, which had a guide price of £160,000. After a real battle on auction day, it was eventually bought by Rakesh for £275,000, 115 grand over the guide price. If he was in the least bit worried he may have gone over the top, something happened that reassured him right away at the auction. A rival bidder offered him £25,000 on the spot to flip it. But seasoned developer Rakesh was determined to see this one through.
I did a lot of research before I came for this property itself. I came here 3 times, brought the builders, had the legal pack in my hand as well. So it was a point where I just didn't want to let go of it.
Rakesh, whose day job is running his dry cleaning company, had big plans for this fairly big but rather dated and slightly damp flat. He clearly had quite the transformation in mind, and I was getting, well, pretty excited.
I have an interior designer with us as well on board.
Wow, so I'm expecting big things, Rakesh.
Absolutely.
I'm expecting a bit of a wow factor when I walk in the door.
Absolutely.
Almost 2 months later, we're back to find out if Rakesh has injected that wow. I think that's what you call the wow factor.
When we were last here, we had a partition wall which we completely removed. The kitchen actually felt very claustrophobic, and removing the wall, having it a bit more open plan, it naturally let more daylight inside, and it made the kitchen actually look much more bigger as well.
The rest of the flat isn't looking too shabby either. High-end finish was promised by Rakesh, and a high-end finish is exactly what he delivered. I do love the clean lines of the porcelain tiles, but what about that lovely old parquet flooring?
Originally we were going to keep the parquet flooring, however we looked at having to sand it down, bring it back to its original life, was very cost effective. So therefore what we actually did was completely removed the parquet flooring from each and every individual room. We decided to go for natural bamboo in the living room. With the kitchen itself, we're going to go for the porcelain tile. And each bedroom was going to be carpeted. I think the carpet part also brings more comfort towards each home as well.
OK, maybe cleaning up that parquet wasn't cost effective, but I have to say I am sorry to see it go. But this flat does have a truly lovely finish. The attention to detail is really impressive. I particularly like what he's done with the lighting.
Dropping the ceiling, making that special extra feature, we put LED lights around them just to give that extra special effect in the living room, bathroom and kitchen. Well, originally we were going to go for a standard finish, but then I thought, you know, give that little bit extra spec is always a selling point as well, and a bit of a wow factor. But yeah, we have put my extra effort in here and made sure that we give that special finish to the whole flat.
An upmarket finish can mean an upmarket budget. Has Rakesh gone over?
Well, initially, yes, we were going to spend $15,000 on the property itself. However, there was extra special features we did add on, and that obviously added cost on at the same time. I have virtually got to a stage on my spreadsheet at the moment where it's just hit £18,000. I think, considering that the finishing has come to this level, spending that extra $3,000 hasn't really made a big difference to anything, because it actually does look, you know, better than it was, and it's given that special effect to it.
Keeping that budget under control with this finish is amazing. But Rakesh managed to do that by doing a fair amount of the work himself. Whilst he and his team of builders have gone the extra mile, I'm hoping it's going to be enough to balance the books. Now remember, Rakesh did get carried away and paid £115,000 over the guide price. And with the renovation costing £18,000, his total investment here is a whopping £293,000. So, with his mind totally set on selling, will his gamble pay off? We've invited along 2 local estate agents to give us their expert opinions.
I think the real selling features of the flat are the aesthetics of it. It looks good. The doors, the flooring, even the ceilings have all been done to a very high standard. It is in a good location, and I would think it would be very popular to many, many buyers.
The accommodation being a 3-bedroom flat would be ideal for either a family or a professional couple, or even a buy-to-let.
Positive noises about the valuations are matched by a pretty positive top rental valuation of £1,450 per calendar month. That would mean a yield of just under 6%. But this was never meant for rental. Rakesh is determined to sell.
So I believe this flat could be retailed at a figure of no less than £325,000.
If we were marketing this flat, we would be looking to seek offers in excess of £330,000.
Oh, it's slightly lower than what I was expecting. However, I will be very frank with you that we have accepted an offer, and it is in the region of £375,000, and we are starting legal on Monday.
Crikey! What a result for Rakesh. If that sale does go through, it could mean a pre-tax profit of £82,000. And as a result of that success, Rakesh has decided to property develop full-time. But saying goodbye to this property won't come too easy.
I've enjoyed every moment of this project. It's heartbreaking that I have to sell it because I have fell in love with it, and I think my family as well are really heartbroken that we have to let it go. But, you know, this is business, and it's just move on to the next one and make it just as good.
And we're moving on to our next property too, here in Cornwall.
I've got a plan. I need to get a tan. I'll get in my car and go on holiday.
It's a hugely popular tourist destination, but on the way to the holiday hotspot are plenty of lovely villages. Well, 5 miles from Liskeard, in the little village of East Taphouse, is the property I'm here to see. Now, it's right by the side of this fairly busy main road, which is not a good start. However, the guide price is intriguingly low, just £40,000. So, what's the catch? Maybe I'm just being a bit suspicious, but not even that busy road can explain the guide price. The roof doesn't look too great. Could that be it? There's a charming rear garden. So what is the catch? So through the back door, partly because that front door is on that busy main road, so I guess you'd end up using this entrance more often than not. Straight into the kitchen. Bit of a downside, that is the loo and bathroom, and it's the only one in the property. Is that the main catch? No. You know, and I'm sure you could live with that. You've got a sitting room, front sitting room there with an open fire, which is nice. Kitchen itself, well, it's kind of quaint. I guess it's built into some kind of an extension at some point. It needs a bit of work, but actually it's pretty in keeping with the cottage itself. Through here, and I'm getting the feeling this could almost have been a couple of cottages knocked through at some point, because there's another sitting room here, like a middle sitting room, then through to another lounge at the front there, again, downside, right by the side of the road. However, none of those things are the catch. The catch is that, in case you hadn't guessed, this place is actually lived in by somebody. There's a tenant in place and a rent is being paid. What's the problem with that? You could say that's actually quite good news. Trouble is, that rent isn't necessarily the full market rent at the moment, and you don't know what the tenancy agreement is that's in place. Is it an assured short-held tenancy agreement that you can change and maybe ask the person to move out? Is it, well, does it exist at all? There's all sorts of unknowns, and those definitely need to be sorted out, because it makes this not an ideal one to go for, perhaps. But let's carry on looking around the property. This is one of those auction lots where reading the legal pack and the auction catalogue thoroughly and getting advice would have been imperative. Directly opposite the top of the stairs, this double bedroom overlooks that busy road, and there's no double glazing. Definitely worth installing. A good-sized double bedroom on the front there, and at the rear of the property, a half-decent-sized second bedroom. But then, this is where it goes a bit wrong, because in order to access the third bedroom, you have to come through here. I mean, in terms of a layout, it's not ideal at all. The bedroom itself is quite good, so what's the solution? Well, it might not be as expensive or difficult as you might imagine. Just moving the stairs to the centre of the property would solve all your problems. You would then access the front bedroom from the other corner.
So move it on over, move it on over, move it on over, move it on.
And the rear bedroom and master bedroom on the sides of the house will have their own separate doors. Much better. Of course, you will need to check with the planning department and get expert advice as to the possible structural issues for a cottage that was built in 1847. Being on a busy road, the curb appeal isn't a selling point for this cottage. But at the back, this glorious garden with distant views and a separate entrance providing off-street parking is a real winner. we invited a local estate agent to come round and give us his opinions.
I really like it. Lots of potential, very cosy, lots of nice features. It could make a fantastic little cottage. You've got parking for several vehicles, so that's a huge benefit for this cottage.
Knowing the area and similar properties, I wonder if he thinks reconfiguring the staircase and the layout is a good idea.
Personally, I wouldn't suggest altering the layout. I think you'd reduce the size of one of the bedrooms so much so it's actually better to have 3 good-sized double bedrooms.
OK, well, if the cottage was left configured as is and the buyer was looking to rent, how much income could the property generate?
In its current form, I believe around 450 per calendar month. Renovated, 550 to 600 per calendar month.
And what about the sales figures?
Once renovated, I'd be able to put this on the market for £125,000 to £130,000.
Well, it's a charming little cottage, but buying a tenanted property does have its issues, so it won't be for everybody. Let's see who bought it when it went under the hammer.
East Tap House, Liscard, freehold subject to an assured tenancy. 45 with you, certainly will, at £45,000. One more to advance to 46, 47 now, 48, 49, 50. At £50,000 standing here, 51. No, you're done, it's at £50,000 standing here. Take one anywhere else in the room, if anyone else wants to now come in here. £50,000 standing, it's 51 now. And 2, and 3, and 4, and 5, and 6, and 7, and 8, and 9, and 60. 60, no. 60,000 standing here, against you and against you, at £60,000. Call it for the first time, second time, third and last time, it's £60,000 standing here. Quite sure we're all done. Yours at £60,000. Very happy, smiley face.
The very happy bidder was Sarah, who was at the auction with her husband and next-door neighbours. Sarah knows the cottage well because she and her husband, Graham, and their 4-year-old son, Toby, are the tenants who've lived there for many years. Sarah also operates a child-minding business from the cottage, so it was really crucial for them to get the cottage when it went under the hammer. I went back to the property to congratulate her on the purchase and find out more. Sarah, it's lovely to meet you.
You too.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Now, how long have you lived here for?
16 years.
Now, the auction, I can only imagine how nerve-wracking that was for you.
Yes, didn't sleep for a few nights before.
Right. Were you happy with what you paid?
Yeah, it was right on our limit. We couldn't go any higher than that.
That was it?
That was it.
That was your last bid?
That was our last bid. I had to look confident and just try to go for it and hoping that whoever it was bidding against us would stop.
Have you thought about buying it before?
Yes, we had tried to put an offer in beforehand. It was declined.
How much was your offer for?
55.
OK, so you had to pay a little bit more.
Yes.
But the prospect of the sale of this house, what did that mean to you?
It's very nerve-wracking and not knowing what's going to happen, really. It was like we had to go for it or...
What would the worst-case scenario have been?
We were always told they couldn't get us out, so if anybody else bought it, it would have to deal with somebody else and hoping they would do the house up because there's a lot of work needs doing to the place.
Right.
But how they're going to do that while we're living in here was all going to be very difficult.
So you said they couldn't get you out?
No, we had a assured tenancy, so...
For how many years, though?
Well, there wasn't any... We had never signed anything, there wasn't anything in place. We were told we could stay here as long as we'd like.
Oh, wow.
When we first moved in.
You've got a bit of a bargain, actually.
Yes. Yeah.
And what do you know about the price? I mean...
Well, we were kind of... for the mortgage and things like that, then they came back and said actually the value is 120, so...
Really?
Yes.
What, as it is?
As it is. So, yes.
So you got a £120,000 house for 60,000?
Yes, yes. So, that was our one and only option and of buying our own home, and it's worked out, thank goodness.
It took a whole lots of doing, but we did it. Yes, we did it, boy.
Sarah's husband's a gardener, and he'll do as much work as he can to keep the costs down with help from a builder friend. but I'm keen to find out what their plans are for the cottage. So 16 years you've been living here. Have you changed it around much since you sort of moved in?
No, not really. We've kind of tried to decorate it as time goes on, you know, and patched it up here and there because not much work's been done on the house since we moved in. So we've made it livable. And
is there things you wanted to do?
yes, like the bathroom and the kitchen. It needed redoing really, but we've kind of patched it up as much as we could. And yeah,
right.
Yeah, and the roof.
Ah,
yes.
Does it leak?
Well, it doesn't leak, but there's a chimney behind a wall, which sometimes we can hear dripping.
Ooh. But it's now yours.
It's ours, so we can do the work.
Cut and dried. Do you want?
Yeah.
Result. What are you going to do to it?
Well, we're hoping to get the bathroom upstairs.
Right, where?
In the large bedroom, just cut that up a bit,
Okay.
hopefully. And if we can move the stairs, yeah, hopefully that will separate the house into 3 bedrooms and a small bathroom.
And then the bathroom downstairs, keep that? Or?
No, we'll move that and turn that into, hopefully get some planning to extend out slightly and have a kitchen diner, so you're looking out into the garden, so that's the plan.
Well, I like that idea because the cottage really doesn't make the most of the garden and those cracking views. If they get planning permission for the extension, a larger kitchen could transform the place. And the couple plan to add double glazing, which will cut down the traffic noise. What's the sort of budget set aside for doing the work?
Well, so far we've got £8,000, but then hopefully we'll see how far we can go with that, and then we'll hopefully get a loan then on top.
And the timescale?
Roof and windows by winter, and then the rest will follow suit, really, and see how we go by from there.
Well, listen, Sarah, congratulations.
Thank
I'm
you.
delighted for you.
Lovely.
Good luck.
Thanks.
Look forward to seeing how you get on.
Thank you.
Well, I do love a happy ending, and for Sarah and her family, it certainly looks like one of those. An obvious thing for her to buy, and it seems like she's done really well in the process. How are they going to get on with the renovations? I like the idea of moving the stairs, sorting out the bedrooms upstairs, changing it all around. Sounds great. You can find out how they get on later in the show. We've seen how one of our auction properties turned out. What about the other 2?
Have there been many changes, or have they remained exactly the same? Let's find out.
Back to Newcastle under Lyme in Staffordshire now, where earlier I looked around this 3-bedroom semi-detached which sat opposite the local pub and on a main road. It was a solid property with very few obvious problems, and at a guide price of £80,000 looked like a bit of a bargain. Especially when I discovered, next to the next door property, you've also got a single garage. What? Bonus! It was bought on auction day by Kevin for £109,000. After a 10-year break from property developing, Kevin was making a comeback, and this was his latest acquisition. So this one, then, what are you going to do to it?
Cosmetically, it looks fairly clean, but it does need, every room needs repainting. The bathroom needs completely ripping out. That's very old-fashioned. Also, the kitchen is probably 1960s and not been touched yet, so that needs ripping out. There's a window going out into the garden. I want to put some French doors in there. So it lends itself into the garden. It's south-facing as well, so it's got a nice patio area, so it could be a very nice little family home.
Kevin was keen to add this property to his portfolio of rentals and had given himself a 6-week timescale and a £7,000 budget to get the job done. Well, rather than 6 weeks, it's 5 months before we return. Let's see if Kevin's plans have run smoothly. Downstairs has been transformed into a cosy, comfortable family home. With the kitchen and diner looking much more appealing.
What's changed in this room? Really quite a lot's changed in this room. We've got the new kitchen, complete new ceiling, and French doors which let a lot of light into the room. It makes it a much brighter and nicer room to be in, really.
Upstairs, and the improvements continue with the bathroom, all clean lines and contemporary design. The 3 bedrooms are showing what a lovely family home this property was always meant to be. The French doors open out onto a tidied-up garden with a new resident. It looks like Fudge is very happy with his new abode. But enough of me rabbiting on. What have been the biggest challenges?
The main work that's been done is replaster to the hallway, losing all the Artex. The kitchen's been replastered, new kitchen and replastered, and complete new bathroom is the main works. The ceiling in the kitchen wasn't as good as we thought it was, so we actually changed the ceiling in the kitchen. And then the central heating, that was I was debating whether to change that, and in the end we decided to rip that out completely and start again with a good quality central heating system, which was the biggest expense really so far. I took the old kitchen out, I installed the majority of the new kitchen, did a lot of the painting, decorating, the landscaping around, and then had contractors to do the rest.
Kevin's hands-on approach helped him stick close to his original budget of £7,000, going just £1,000 over that figure. However, he is some distance away from his original timescale of 6 weeks.
The reason that it's taken so long to get you back here really and to get to the position we are now is my stepdaughter that's building their own house suddenly decided they wanted somewhere else to live while they're having their own house built. So they came in, did a quick decorate and moved in straight away. And we've got them here probably till around about March, April next year. They've been very involved, and one of the lucky things really is the tenant that's here is a tiler, so he can tile, and he's done all of the tiling work for me.
An in-house tiler? That's a jammy outcome. So right now and for the next 6 months or so, Kevin's stepdaughter and her family will be staying in the house. However, Kevin has spent a total of £117,000 buying and developing this house and will be keen to see a future return on his investment. We've invited 2 local property agents along to give us their opinions.
The one thing that really stands out is the kitchen. Most people these days are looking for a good-sized kitchen diner family room. Overlooks the garden as well, which is a really nice feature. I think people will really take to that, yeah.
I think the bathroom's fitted really, really nicely. It's modern fitted, ideal for families with the bath, and obviously shower over, so it's convenient. I think the kitchen, now he's opened it out, it's offered dining kitchen, so that's great for families again because there's lots of space. And obviously the patio doors leading out onto the garden so you can have a nice view.
Let's get stuck into those figures then. Rentals first.
I think the landlord should probably be looking somewhere in the region of £575 to £600 per calendar month.
I would expect the vendor to achieve £625 per calendar month on the rental market.
Yeah, that's about right. About 625 is really great, and that's about what I'm looking for. So yeah, no, certainly think I'll get the higher end.
Well, if he does get £625 per calendar month, that could mean a yield of over 6%. What about those sales figures?
In the current market, I would say probably somewhere in the region of £110,000.
In the current market, I would suggest a resale value of £150,000.
110 is ridiculously low. There's no way it would fetch that amount. I know next door but one has just sold for 150 and it's identical.
One reason for the difference in values is that this is a very long street and prices tend to vary depending on where you are. But if Kevin gets that 150,000, he stands to make a profit of 33,000 minus the usual taxes and expenses. However, with his stepdaughter and, of course, Fudge the Rabbit settled in for the next 6 months at least, Kevin is happy to hold on to the property and will rent it out for some time to come. So, with a successful property here and a pub over the road, I can see only one outcome. What do you reckon, Kevin?
I think over there for a quick pint.
Back to Cornwall now, to the village of East Taphouse, where I looked at this semi-detached cottage.
Although on a main road, it had a huge back garden, along with 3 good-sized bedrooms, all for a guide price of £40,000 plus. So what was the catch?
In case you hadn't guessed, this place is actually lived in by somebody. There's a tenant in place and a rent is being paid. What's the problem with that? You could say that's actually quite good news. Trouble is, that rent isn't necessarily the full market rent at the moment.
So there's a tenant in place. They may not be paying the amount of rent you'd like, and you don't know what the tenant's contract is, if indeed there's any contract at all. All this, and there's the usual old windows and dodgy looking roof. A lot of potential banana skins. Sarah, the buyer, was overcome with joy because she was the tenant.
How long have you lived here for?
16 years.
Were you happy with what you paid?
It was right on our limit. We couldn't go any higher than that.
That was it?
That was it.
That was your last
Yes,
bid?
That was our last bid. I had to look confident and just try to go for it.
After 16 years of living there, Sarah and her family finally own the property and can begin making improvements. 2 years and 4 months later, we return to see how she got on. Sarah and her family have stayed put, but made changes so the house they love better suits their needs.
Windows we did first, that was the easier job, and then we did the roof. We still have to redesign the kitchen and hopefully do a kitchen diner with windows looking out to the garden, which hopefully will be next year. And we still want to do the flooring in the other room. We found flagstones under the carpet, so we want to restore them.
There's still a lot to do then, especially with the kitchen extension yet to be tackled. But by sorting the windows and the roof, the family are now warm and dry. A very smart move, in my opinion. Despite those being big jobs, they were by no means the biggest.
Well, in this room we have moved the stairs. We have the stairs before was in here in the corner in a cupboard, and now we've moved it to the centre of the house going up. And also we've removed the wall to open it up and give us a lot more space and light in this room, which is great.
And moving the stairs hasn't just benefited the layout of the ground floor.
With the stairs coming up through the centre of the house, we have now don't have to walk through Toby's room to get to the master bedroom. We now have a bathroom and a small guest room on the left, and then we also have it's going to be our bedroom over up onto the right.
I think this is a much more sensible layout. They've managed to retain 3 bedrooms and have a bathroom upstairs. And how does Toby like his new bedroom?
It's good.
There you have it.
He loves his new room. He's so proud. He always wanted fish, and he always said, as soon as you have your new room, you can have some fish. So he's now got a fish tank.
So meet Goldie, Wriggler, Spotty and Stripey. So, Toby, care to tell us what you like best about the new setup?
It's mostly got more pictures, and I've got my fish now. It used to be a bit long travelling to the bathroom, because we had to go all the way downstairs.
Budget restraints meant Sarah and family were only working at weekends and relying on friends in the building trade to get the work done. So it's taken a while, almost 2.5 years. But this was a labour of love, and timescale wasn't a priority. The most important thing was that they had the home they always wanted to own.
Now it's ours, and because we've put the work in as well, it makes us feel, you know, like we've done this. And knowing that you're not putting money in where you're wasting it and somebody else might take it away from you. So, yeah, everything we put in it is ours now. So.
This is going to be a long-term project, and Sarah and husband Graham will do the work as and when they have the finances and the energy. Talking about finances seems almost rude when this is a project of the heart, but here we go. Sarah had a budget of £8,000 to do the first stage. That included the roof, the windows and the staircase. So, how did she get on?
Yeah, budget is we're at about 10,000 now. So yeah, with the roof and the windows, and new chimneys as well. So we've done pretty well actually with that.
The couple have had a huge task making some very necessary but transformative changes, and I'll bet they can only have improved the value. So far, with the purchase price of £60,000 and their spend of £10,000, they have spent £70,000 on their home. We asked 2 local estate agents to give us their thoughts.
I like the way they've opened it all up, let a lot of light in. Still a long way to go, but there's a lot of potential here.
I like the fact that they've opened up the 2 rooms because they were quite small, and having changed the location of the staircase, that's probably a big advantage to have the dogleg staircase now.
Despite clearly being a work in progress, positive comments so far from the experts. If she were to rent, what could she expect to achieve?
I think you could let this property in the region of £450 per calendar month.
The rent that we could achieve on this being a 3-bedroom property would probably be around £375, £395 per calendar month.
Both estate agents said they would market the property in its current state at £125,000. However, were they to go ahead with the kitchen extension they're planning, it could be worth up to £160,000. Certainly would be worth doing, Sarah. Even without renovating the kitchen, this would give Sarah a profit of £55,000. But this wasn't about the money. This development was about improving the quality of life for Sarah and her family. And don't forget, Sarah's been living in a building site for more than 2 years, with more work still to do. So how does she feel about the whole process?
It's daunting at first, and it's definitely hard work. You have ups and downs, but the end result, once you're there, I think it's a big thumbs up. Yeah.
What do you think? Would you have been tempted to buy any of those properties at today's auctions?
Well, there's plenty more where they came from, so make sure you join us next time for more Homes Under the Hammer.
Goodbye.